Whistle-blowing bays when engines roam free. Memories of steam in every dream we see. Chugging through the fields where dreams begin. Whistle-blowing days when memories spin.
Newsletter 21. Dear members, this has been an extraordinary year for the weather. Conditions have been unusually dry across the country. Several wildfires have made national news, and it is being reported as the driest year since 1921. Those extreme conditions forced us to postpone the steam-up we had planned for the end of June, a stark contrast to the relatively cool weather only a few weeks beforehand. At the time of writing, the Met Office has issued a warning of a fifth heatwave in 2026, and the outlook shows little or no meaningful rain expected in the near term. Because of this prolonged dry spell, we ask all members to take extra care and remain vigilant about the hazards that hot, dry weather brings. Please take sensible precautions. Stay well hydrated. Avoid letting cinders fall on the ground, especially on grass, and use spark catchers when moving or working. The tinder-dry state of the grounds at Aspel Lane Nursery left our 5th anniversary event in serious doubt. Fortunately, all is not lost. The Prick Willow Drainage Museum very kindly offered us an alternative venue. They have agreed to host the event, but only as a Sunday-only gathering this year. The museum site has plenty of mains water available for both drinking and for use with steam engines, attractive shaded areas beneath the trees, and a small lane should you wish to take a short trundle. The museum has also asked whether we could plan a full one-day event there next year, and we hope to work with them on that. We trust you have enjoyed the season so far, and we wish you a safe and trouble-free remainder of the shows. If you have any stories, photographs, event reports, show dates or classifieds that you would like included in our newsletter, please send them to eemrsclub@hotmail.com. Rally Roundup. The Cambridgeshire County Show kicked off the season's major gatherings on the last weekend in May. Superbly organised by the Cambridgeshire Young Farmers, this large single-day show drew fantastic crowds, even with the unseasonably hot temperatures. Beyond the highly impressive and extensive lines of classic cars, vintage tractors and heritage commercial vehicles, the heavy steam section was a brilliant highlight. 3 full-size engines were successfully loaded to the event under their own steam, no small feat in that heat. Spectators were treated to the sight and sound of Davenport's beautiful Alchan compound traction engine, as well as Colson's Garrett Showman's tractor, expertly handled by an all-female crew. Bringing up the rear with classic rally charm was Jennings' Aveling and Porter steam tractor, hauling its accompanying Showman's living van. Seeing these engines roaded in rather than low-loaded is always a tremendous sight for the public and exhibitors alike. The model section provided plenty of interest, featuring an intriguing, approximately 3-inch scale electrically powered Sentinel lorry and a superb gathering of 5 model steam engines. Club members were exceptionally well represented, fielding 3 of the models in attendance. Tony Nightingale brought his Clayton and Shuttleworth engine, Patsy, which was performing flawlessly. Having received a few technical tweaks following its outing at Stradset, Patsy is undoubtedly running better than ever. A major highlight of the working exhibits was provided by the Rivet family, who displayed their 7 NHP Burrell convertible traction engine, Sybil, alongside their Foster threshing machine. The Peggs family were also on the field with their formidable 4-inch scale DCC 8 NHP contractor's engine, Jack. The opportunity was taken towards the end of the afternoon to belt Jack up to the threshing drum. It made for a magnificent spectacle of miniature steam power in action. The impressive Burrell lineup was completed by 2 further visiting engines in 3-inch Prasto type and 4-inch steam traction World 6 NHP GPE. Cambridge Town and Country Show was held in mid-June, right in the middle of the university city, on the famous Parker's Piece. Organised by Charlie Owen Events and financially backed by the Cambridge Town Council, the Steam section may have been a small, select gathering this year, but it certainly made up for its size in quality and heart. There were 3 model engines in attendance, all owned by club members, alongside a fine showing of 5 full-size engines. The largest model on the field was Ian Newman's impressive Indian-built McLaren Road Loco. Ian put the engine to wonderful use, giving passenger rides to raise funds for the children's ward at Addenbrooke's Hospital, a deeply personal cause following the life-saving brain tumour procedures his grandson Harley received there a few years ago. Ian also brought along the delightful 4.5-inch scale Burrell electric traction engine he built for his grandchildren. The Rivet family provided a highly unusual working spectacle for the city centre, belting their Burrell Sybil up to their Foster threshing machine. It attracted a great deal of amused and delighted interest, as it is certainly not every day you see a full threshing setup parked squarely on Parker's Piece. The club steam-up at the end of June has to postponed due to the very dry and very hot conditions. It was rescheduled for the 22nd and 23rd of August, but in regards to the dry conditions, they have only got worse, so a change of location has been achieved, and it will now be held on the 23rd of August at Prickwillow Museum, on Sunday only, the 23rd of August. Weeting Steam Rally was held in mid-July as normal, and proved to be a very well-attended show for both full-size and model steam engines, as well as tractors. The site boasted an excellent working area, and while non-steam exhibits are traditionally fewer here compared to other events, there was still plenty to keep everyone entertained. The trade stands were reportedly very busy throughout the weekend, and our very own Alex Ollett noted afterwards that it was one of the best shows he had ever done as a trader. It was certainly very well supported by the public, and at £15 for an adult ticket, with concessions available, it remains a reasonably priced event for its scale. The club was well represented, and even your club boiler inspector made an appearance as a roving reporter, thanks to a very kind invitation of trustee Matt Stroud, whose daughter Darcy is a well-known club member and was seen driving a Aveling Porter roller over the weekend. The extreme dry weather played absolute havoc with the light sandy soil of the rally field, particularly in the area parked up in front of the full-size engines. I joked that next year I might need to bring my bucket and spade. There were many engines on display that I had not seen in the flesh before, some travelling from some considerable distance. As is tradition, the Pegs were in attendance with their formidable Burrell Contractors engine. This event serves as their local rally, as they live just a few miles down the road from the site. Their engine made for a fantastic photograph, parked up beside the ex-Strumpshaw Marshall 7 NHP Monty, beautifully restored, and now proudly owned by Scott Bunting. A particularly brilliant display came from Edward George, who attended with his fantastic, self-built, half-size Fowler T3 Tiger tractor. Wonderfully, the Saunders collection was also there, exhibiting the full-size counterpart, along with many other full-size steam exhibits. Club presence remained strong across the field, despite Weeting being home to the Brandham Model Engineering Club, with Dean Whitwell attending with his Burrell SCC. Among the Saunders collection were several Showman's Road locomotives. This included the engine the now defunct Steam Traction World based their Burrell DCC engines on, namely Burrell Works No. 4000 ex-Mayor, beautifully completely rebuilt by Dave Roberts, and turned out in the same livery as she wore when brand new. She was once part of the William Madmine collection. That was sold off to fund an overhaul of the famous LNER A3 Flying Scotsman, which he owned from 1973 until 1996. The Saunders collection also was showing another very famous Showman's Road loco, that being the Lion, which surely must be the ultimate Fowler Showman's, being a 10 NHP B6 Super Lion. Adding to the miniature lineup from club members were Tony and Richard Nightingale, who brought along their 4 Clayton and Shuttleworth engine. Julia Sims and Dan Story with their 3-scale Allchin GPE engine, and Richard Walton joined the gathering with his superb half-size Burrell GPE, Harriet. Finally, catching plenty of eyes on the rally field was a very unusual and highly charming exhibit, a 4-inch scale Sentinel S4, finished in a wonderfully nostalgic Cadbury's chocolate blue livery. It shows that rally founder and chairman Richard Parrott is a fan of locally built Burrell engines, as he owns no less than 4, and as such, Burrell engines are always represented here. One nicely proportioned road loco is the Dalesman, presented in Burrell Quaker green and chocolate brown wheels and matching traction wagon. Smoke signals. Repairs to Malcolm Page's Foden are nearly complete, with just an auxiliary water feed and mechanical lubrication systems left to be completed before test steaming can take place, and, if all goes well, reassembly. Julia Sims and Dan Story's 3 Allchin passed its steam test on the Sunday our steam up was originally planned for. Dan has done a few changes over the winter, and this has made a very big positive change to its steaming characteristics. A few weeks later, the engine made a rare public outing to the Wheating Steam Rally. Rivet Engineering advises that their 4-inch and 6-inch scale spark catchers have been selling rapidly, at a rate of approximately 3 to 5 units per week, and they are now introducing 1 for 3-inch scale models. These items are highly recommended in the present hot, dry conditions. For further information, please contact rivetsteam@hotmail.com. Since the last newsletter, we have welcomed 2 new members. Richard Walton joined the club in early July. He is well known locally with his 6-inch scale 6 NHP Burrell single-cylinder agricultural engine, Harriet, and is progressing well with the restoration of a Ruston Proctor 5-ton steam tractor. Mick Thompson joined in late July and is the owner of a 4-inch scale Ruston SD steam tractor. The engine was one of the very last kits of this type that started off under Winson Engineering, and after their demise ended up being supplied by Model Works. This engine was supplied in 2009, shortly before that later company ceased trading and their models being taken over by Steam Traction World, but the Ruston kits were dropped from the range. Club Archive. Jonathan Carey and James Rivet have started a club archive consisting of several publications, including classic copies of the NTET Steam magazine and Model Engineer, with volumes dating from the 1950s until the 1960s. There is also various rally programs and Nice News, the now defunct publication of the Norfolk Internal Combustion Engine Society, as well as several vintage publications from various authors. The archive is available to all full members, and once the archive has been catalogued, a list of its contents will be distributed to the membership. We would also welcome new contributions of any related description towards the archive. Feel free to email eemrsclub@hotmail.com for more details. 5th anniversary Steam Up. Because of the constant dry weather and tinderbox conditions at Aspel Lane Nursery, we have had to move our Steam Up to Prickwillow Drainage Museum. But due to the museum's request, it will only be a Sunday event. This was the only way to make sure the event still went ahead after the site's owners raised concerns about the dry conditions on the site. There is water on site, and there is some cake for current members to celebrate our 5th anniversary of the club's founding. Entry into the museum will be free for those members attending with an exhibit. The museum is open to the public from 12 noon, so we ask exhibitors to be on site from 11 a.m. The address is Prickwillow Museum, Main Street, Prickwillow, LE, Cambridgeshire, CB 74UN. Hope to see you all there.
Whistle blowing bays when engines roam free. Memories of steam in every dream we see. Chugging through the fields where dreams begin. Whistle blowing days when memories spin.